Good afternoon, Patriots, and welcome to another edition of Quarantime. As always, I'm your host, RP, and joining me, as he does every day, Monday through Friday, at 2 p.m. generally, is my co-host, M3 Methods. Please, Patriots, do give me a bit of a bump here. Help us by liking and sharing the broadcast. Help us break through the algorithms. Hope everybody got a chance to watch The President. That's why we're starting late. Happy Good Friday. Almost Easter. The day is not over yet. We've got some new posts to go over. Some important messages from our favorite Anon. I love this song. We've got Patriots from all across the globe. I want to know where everybody's from. And we're going to go through it. Let me throw on some slow mode so we don't blast the mod's eyeballs. All right, everyone, please do sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. Stephen King once wrote, "Panic is highly contagious, especially in situations when nothing is known and everything is in flux." Well, the world we live in today is in flux, and it's filled with a flood of information that's often as much gossip as fact. Now, that makes it hard to know what the situation really is, and it also makes it easy for people to panic and make bad decisions. The only way not to get caught up in that chaos is to have a plan allowing you to avoid dealing with empty store shelves, long lines, and in the worst case, desperate people. Use today to prepare. A great place to start is storing food in your home, and I'm prepared myself, and I even ordered more recently. Now, the experts at My Patriot Supply have told me that orders have now reached about 100 times the normal volume, and they're shipping on a first-come, first-served basis. With this unprecedented emergency, orders are being delayed, sometimes 8 weeks or more. I urge you to add your order to mine today, because the sooner you order, the sooner you can get your purchase. Take action so you're ready for what's coming and save $70 on a 2-week emergency food kit when you go to my special website, preparewithredpill78.com. Those that know what's coming are preparing today. Go to preparewithredpill78.com. Once again, that's preparewithredpill78.com. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. Yes. And we're back. Methods, how are you today, buddy?
What's going on, Red Pill? Happy Good Friday, DJT Day. How's the chat doing?
It looks like we've got people from every corner of the globe. I saw many countries. San Juan Capistrano right there, Florida, Montana, Michigan, Missouri, Pennsylvania, Indiana, North Carolina. It doesn't matter. People are here from everywhere. You guys...
It always reminds me of the Animaniacs song. You remember that growing up when they're saying all 50 states?
We're Animaniacs. I know that one. Right. Remember yesterday, guys, how I said I got an email from a patriot, a digital patriot from Zambia? How cool was it that the next 2 posts from our favorite Anon after that included patriots from other parts of the globe, somebody else from another country in Africa, and then somebody who is from some Ministry of Education in some Islamic-speaking country. A blue check mark, nonetheless. I thought that was pretty interesting. Not exactly something that they've shown before. I mean, actually, now that I think about it, we have had, like, Iran, we've had Korea. So, I mean, obviously it's happening, but I just thought that the timing was interesting and coincidental.
Right. I mean, I wish that, we read Arabic Because I mean, that video looked cool. It seemed like it wasn't bashing or anything, and the translation on the tweet seemed like it was being fair, just reporting on it.
Yeah.
But the fact that he is a education, I guess, leader. He's verified. It was very interesting to see that it was being covered, and they had their own video for it.
Yeah, I really liked it. So, you know, obviously, guys, it is 4/10/20. We're here. Many people were speculating that something specific was going to happen today. This is why we have urged everyone not to get their hopes up too much. You know, it's fun to theorize about these things. But I also would say that the day is not over yet. But, Methods, when I look back and I see these hints at specific dates for specific events, what always ends up happening is that the deep state, the swamp, they think something's going to happen, and then they, you know, blow all their ammunition all over the place because they want to, you know, get ahead of it and stop anything from being announced and having people pay attention to it. And to be quite honest with you, we're in the midst of what is probably the largest expense of ammunition. And I think that this is what they want people to be focusing on. So there's nothing else really that they can do. I mean, even if they did something in a public place, I mean, what are they going to, you know, take out like an empty fruit market or something like that, or an empty stadium?
Right. I mean, I remember, I guess the greatest example of that in my head right now would be the D5 from a couple of years ago because of the hearing about the Clinton Foundation, right?
Yeah.
And we all assumed that would be it. It was scheduled for that time. You know, they all freaked out. I can't remember exactly what they did, but they tried to change the narrative real quick. And Huber wasn't even there. Like, he didn't even go for it.
That's right.
So, yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. And I mean, it kind of puts me and you, and we've talked about this off air, in like this damage control almost situation, because dates do get called out. Decodes do happen. We can't stop it, even though me and you try to tell people, you know, be patient. Don't necessarily hold all your hopes on it, but then it happens and people still get frustrated. Then of course the shills just fuel the fire.
Yeah.
So we want to be there for everybody and not do the "I told you so" type things, but it's one of those things that patience is a virtue, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we
absolutely.
need to take our time, and you know, that's why I'm glad that our favorite Anon dropped this post today, because it needed to be said.
Yeah, no, I am too. Navy Vet, I did get your email, buddy. I pulled the website up, but I haven't been able to read through the whole thing yet. Yesterday was very busy after I got finished with this show. And then Real Red Pill Girlfriend arrived late last night, so I've been spending my time paying attention to her. And then this morning, I was recording with a gentleman by the name of Sean Atwood. He is a researcher, an author, and a former former convict here in America, but he's a British guy. And now he spends his time writing books and educating young people on the dangers of drug abuse and criminal activities. He's a great guy. Since Methods and I are taking the day off on Sunday for Easter, going to premiere that on at our time slot on Sunday, just so that there's something for you guys to watch. But it also lets us spend some time with our loved ones. Obviously, with Real Red Pill Girlfriend here, that's going to be the focal point of my day. But of course, we're going to have Easter dinner and all that stuff too.
And of course, if anything does pop off over the weekend, we will go live for part of it.
Yeah.
To kind of cover it, make sure that we don't leave everybody hanging.
Most def. So peace, love. I need to say thank you for joining as a member. Also, Angela Cadlick, thank you for joining as a member. Lorinda Kraus says, how's it going? It is going really well. I watched the president's presser, at least the formative portion of it, the stuff that we needed to pay attention to. Jeffrey West, thank you for that. And the Navy Vet also, thank you for that as well. Okay, so let's go through this post here. Well, you know, we had the post with the status from Q the Wake Up, which included, let me just get that pulled up. I want to show you guys this video real quick. It's just a short little video from a patriot from Rwanda. I don't know if this is their account or if actually, I mean, it doesn't look like it's being shared from anybody else, but as Methods knows all too well, it's possible for people to take a video and then put it onto your Twitter and make it look like you produced it.
Well, I think he tweeted out after he got 17'd.
Okay.
That where it came from and for people to follow. So at least that Twitter account was trying to give a hat tip after the fact.
All right, good stuff. Let's check this out. It's real short.
From Rwanda, Where we go on, we go all.
This movement is truly a global movement, you guys. Absolutely amazing to see this happening. It transcends borders. It transcends belief systems. It is about national pride, no matter where you are, truth, freedom, and justice. It's incredible to see this. So I just thought it was super cool because of the coincidence we had yesterday while we were on the air, and then this, similar theme taking place right after we got off the air yesterday as well. Kidanon says, Jeffrey didn't kill himself. That's right. And Red Pills Warhawk says, no, he didn't. Absolutely not. If you guys don't know who Sean Atwood is, he actually talks about Jeffrey a lot. He's done some incredible reporting on it. He is an amazing researcher. So after that show, he and I are going to do a couple of live streams together. And I think you guys will like him. He's a really funny guy. So let's take a look. The next post is the one that is in Arabic. Let's look at that. Now, it's not even giving me the option to translate it now. It did previously, but now I can't translate it. So we've got this still frame here, and it's about who can figure out the true meaning of kofefe. Man, then maybe that's... Okay, so it looks... We can translate the second one. The first publication of 17 Theory was in 2017, and the topic publisher was 17 Clearance Patriot, which means my country holds a 17 permit. Q, a classification that allows its holder to access to confidential documents. The publication was entitled Calm Before the Storm, The Silence Before the Hurricane. A little bit lost in translation there, but you get the picture. Pretty cool. There is this little video, but it's all in another language. And it's a whole thread. Now, what I thought was so cool is look at that check mark. It used to be a blue check mark. Now it's just a white check mark. But that means that person is an official. That's somebody that has been verified by Twitter. And I'm just wondering how long it's going to be before we're going to see people in English that are verified start actually tweeting about this stuff openly. Maybe James Woods.
Yeah, no, it'll be cool because there's got to come a point with that, because regardless of watching the Barr report last night, the interview, and saying if there is evidence that could be proven as such, people would be prosecuted. Mm-hmm. Well, prosecutions happening would make this movement, anything that our favorite Anonymous said, it starts legitimizing it a little bit more, mm-hmm. especially when we could tie them together and things said to the past. So it's going to be undeniable for some of them, because we are going to litter like James Wood's Twitter, mm-hmm. and everything with these proofs as they develop. So yeah, it'd be nice. It'd definitely be nice. I mean, we catch some of these people following us, some of us with a little bit more of a following. We catch them show. We just don't like to highlight them and call them out and make them run and hide or something.
Yeah.
But no, they're paying attention. A lot of them are paying attention more than people know.
And let's just real quick, Methods. Let's go over the content of that Barr interview one more time, because I want this to sink into people. I don't think it's any coincidence that they held on to that interview and published it last night. I don't think it's any coincidence that we also got that transcript with Papa D and his confidential human source working for the clowns in the FBI, also beginning to be published yesterday. The fact that it's been put out there means that they are either at the end of that investigation or they have wrapped it up enough so that it's okay to put the information out. And if we get additional information that gets declassified, it pushes that theory even closer to reality. Now, Bill Barr said last night the key words that if there was proof of wrongdoing, those people would be prosecuted. What was the exact quote, Methods?
If people broke the law and we can establish that with the evidence, they will be prosecuted. And he said it very bluntly. He said, he referred back to things needing to take time and all that stuff. But he said that all this stuff with the Kung Flu is not stopping them at all in the Justice Department to move forward with their things. And they said that he said something along the lines of, when you have a case that you're building that spans over 2 to 3 years, and he kind of just had a little smirk on his face referring to how big it is. Mm-hmm. These things do take time, but then he kind of segued into how Durham works diligently, and he's got faith in them, and everything's going to be in those hands and aspects. So the fact that, like you said, this was shown last night. Now we don't. After listening to it, it looks like they did a part 2, as in they did another interview with him, because they did talk about the Kung Flu and things that are up to date as compared to the one that we got a few months back with Barr. So it might obviously be a new one, or sounds like it to us. But yeah, the fact that they aired it last night, and then the evidence was breaking through Solomon and others of the declassification of the footnotes, 4 specific footnotes from the IG report that were obviously, they were redacted for a reason, which, implies to us that it was ongoing investigation stuff. There was a lot of concerns, and I was reading from an article that they said that a lot of like the long time officials that have been in government, they were the ones voicing the concerns about having that public. And we know old guard stuff. And so if they're nervous about us reading it or having it known, then I'm all about seeing it. And then we also had Chuck Ross, who tweeted out earlier that an official told him that the declassification of it is imminent. So we're probably going to get that this evening. There's 4. I'm going to drop the article in the chat because it kind of gives you an idea of what it's about. But yeah.
So keep in mind also, guys, the ability of the press to take these things and release them depends on the DOJ, people in the know, actually handing them off. I'm fully of the opinion that those that are handing that information to the people in the press, those people could have been directed by people who are directly involved with what's taking place, what's getting posted on the boards. So this is, what we've said many, many times. Measure and temper your expectations, because it doesn't necessarily mean that something's not going to happen. Just more than likely, it means that it's not going to happen the way that people are interpreting it. Never once were we told directly that, this was going to happen on a certain date. It's always been a decode. It's always been somebody divining that information and trying to put it together. Like I said, and like Methods has said, it's a lot of fun, okay? But you got to be careful so that you don't get yourself all twisted up, and then the shills come out of the woodwork and say, you guys lied.
Right. No, well, also, I was thinking about this earlier. Most of the times that we've gotten those timestamp decodes that were proven after the fact when we looked back at them. Or our favorite Anon was like, oh, yeah, by the way, like the done in 30, when it comes to no name, it typically gets figured out after it already happens. But a lot of the Babe Ruth style decodes that claim things, when they fall on their face, shills eat it up, Daily Beast eats it up, which chills in general. So yeah, I mean, that's just something to be careful about. But real quick on this Daily Caller article, at the bottom of it, it points out how Steele had worked with Oleg Deripaska, the one that's tied to very close to Putin. And they said some lawmakers have openly questioned whether Deripaska somehow fed inaccurate information to Steele. So the theory behind what's behind these footnotes is how it blatantly points out that it was false. It was intentionally false information. So it would be Russia collusion.
Exactly.
Right? It would prove those things. And then so I went back and grabbed an old article from John Solomon when he was still at the Hill back in 2018 that I will drop in the chat right now, pointing out that back in, I believe, let me drop this real quick and I'll go look. I believe back in 2009, Oleg Deripaska, the same guy, worked in conjunction with Mueller when Mueller was the head of the FBI. It was in 2007.
Don't forget about Don't forget about the pictures of Deripaska and No Name going out yachting together.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the same guy that was giving this information. And then if you listen to other people like Bongino or any of the digs when it comes to just various things that Anons find, there was people feeding information from both directions to create your double sources to make it sound legit, whether it's Brennan feeding stuff. So that's going to be very interesting on who was handling Deripaska on this. And if they can prove that and then tie it to Mueller, that makes the investigation null and void.
Yep.
And that's when you can start taking things apart.
It's going to be a fun time. Next couple of weeks are going to be big, I think.
Right.
Need to say thank you to Red Pill's cat. Simone has joined as a member of the channel. Thank you. Looney Tune says, Comet Atlas C2019 has me nervous. It's huge. Yeah, Comet Atlas. I've heard people talking about this. Is Atlas the one that's supposed to pass by Earth before April 30th? Or, yeah, I think that must be, because the one that we were talking about with White Hat is, like, coming later on. I've done some research on Comet Atlas. I think we're going to be okay, guys. It's a big comet. It's like 5 times the size of Jupiter, but I think we're going to be okay. Mainstream Media and Company says, you emailed me last night. Send an email and other trusted Israeli News Live disturbing YouTube with disturbing claims. Okay, so I'll go over what this was. I've never heard of Israeli News Live, so I can't say whether or not they're trusted, but the contention this man was making was that a source had come to him and said that President Trump was still the president, but he was not acting as commander-in-chief, and he was removed from power. I didn't see any evidence to support that. I don't personally believe it. I'm not saying that the person at Israeli News Live is not credible. I don't know them, and I don't know any of their reports. So me hearing it, it didn't scare me at all. I wasn't worried. That seems to me like the kind of thing people would say, you know, just to cause misinformation. Now, it's possible Israeli News Live is reputable, but the person who told them that was not. Don't know. We're going to have to, you know, continue to watch. But I think President Trump is fully in control. That's just my feeling. Jennifer4327 says, remember to like and share. Thank you for that. Hit that thumbs up, guys. We've got almost 3,000 people here and 1,000 likes. Gino says, happy Good Friday, boys. Just wanted to shout out my buddy, Officer J. This is his first time viewing the live stream and is new to the 17 movement. Officer J, thank you for your service and welcome to the show. Glad to have you here, buddy. Hey Jude says, my son is ecstatic. He's getting a tomahawk. Thanks for the connection, RP. Awesome. Red Pills Warhawk also said, Mom called and told me her husband tested positive for the thing. Bad news is they live in Nevada and their governor is a tool. Please send some prayers. Most definitely prayers for Red Pills Warhawk's mom and his stepdad. I hopefully the fact that President Trump just announced they just released a ton of hydroxychloroquine from their strategic reserves. Hopefully he'll be able to get the treatment that he needs. Navy vet, something not disinfo is the worldometer pop. Sometime before Easter, the pop will be 7.7 billion people, but all sevens. Those, it's like, it reminds me of that one time on the boards when that person posted Donald Trump will be president. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's old school. It said be president. It was all sevens or was it all twos?
I'm pretty sure it was, well, shoot, I don't know now that you said it.
Regardless, it was like 7 or 8 numbers straight up. So it was cool. It
was really cool. Meow Meow Kitty Poop says, we have martial law outside and the Fed is robbing the world blind. NWO. Bill Barr's dad was OSS and brought over the bad guys from WW2 in Paperclip. Q is pacification. All of those things may be true, but I do believe that Bill Barr is his own man. I don't think that the Fed is robbing us blind. I think we are bankrupting the Fed, and we are nationalizing the Fed so that it is not the same type of thing when we're printing this money. So since it's the Treasury that's lending out the money, they're doing it at essentially 0% interest. It doesn't cost us anything to produce that money. We have oil for years in surplus stockpile, so we have value behind the money. But in the meantime, whereas normally if we would have taken that money and got it as a loan from the Fed, it would have had, an extra 10 cents on the dollar tacked onto it or whatever the interest rate was. And then we would have to work to pay that back. Now it's just free money. They're pumping it out. The Fed has taken on incredible debt and they are bankrupt, and the United States is going to take over its production of money, and I don't believe that we're going to be beholden to these European bankers anymore. That's how I feel about it, and from my understanding, I've done a couple of shows with Bob Kudla. Bob's going to be on the show here again next week. We're going to be discussing this in detail, so if you guys are interested to know about this nationalization of the Fed, make sure you tune in next Thursday at 6 p.m. Marshall Cerise says CPS in Minnesota is corrupt. I think that they are corrupt in every single state in the union. So if you're having issues with them in Minnesota, I'm really sorry to hear that. Brandon Henley says, good work, RP and M3. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. And Carmen Richards says, James Woods, if you're watching, you should come on this or any of Red Pill's shows. P.S. The priest on the crapper scene in Scary Movie 2 is hilarious. I have a confession to make. I've never seen any of the Scary Movie films. Have you seen them, Methods? I'm taking James Woods was in it.
I mean, it's been a while, so I'll take the super chat's word for it. But yeah, I saw the first couple, and then they just started getting ridiculous when it was like Lindsay Lohan or something was showing up in it.
Yeah,
and yeah, I just gave up.
Red Pills Warhawk, please share your email address in the chat again. And that way people can get in touch with you. I see many people asking how to get tomahawks. Dude, hopefully we can set you up as a full-time tomahawk maker. Let me just get my tomahawk again so you guys can see it.
Yeah, go for it. Well, earlier, I'll mention this before you get into it. In the presser earlier, go back and listen to what Chanel asked from OAN, because she pointed out how Maduro is offering to financially help President Xi, excuse me, is offering to financially help Maduro when we're literally trying to bring him to justice with a bounty on his head. So go back and listen to that. Watch the exchange. Trump wasn't happy about it and all that stuff. But yeah, man, the Tomahawk's great. I think it's really, really cool.
Tomahawk is super sweet. Let me see. Red Pills Warhawk. Maybe he's probably waiting for the he slept with it last night, honey. It was under my pillow. Oh, that's great. Well, let's go through this post. 3929. It's entitled, and again, the map owners of the map site puts this together. The titles: Patriots making date predictions are harming the movement and arming the MSM. Think about all those stories that the Daily Beast ran about Junior, okay, as an example. Patriots, be cautious in your interpretations of info posted. False expectations and push based on speculation will only weaponize those who attack us, and that would be the MSM. Why does the MSM expend resources daily attempting to discredit? Do you provide the playbook to the enemy with specific dates? Logical thinking. FISA indictments equal start of public justice. This is something we've heard a couple times in the last couple of days. This is what I want you guys to be looking for. This is the marker, okay? This is going to be the big one. Once these indictments are released, this is going to be the beginning of the flood. People are going to really wake up, and we'll begin to see some arrests. I mean, it's inevitable. And when we take a look at everybody who is involved in that scheme, we can pretty much come up with a nice list of who is actually going to be in trouble, first of all. Thinking about the fact that this is, the Durham investigation, the origins of Spygate, I think that Brennan is probably top of my list for people who would be indicted and then arrested, because that would send an incredibly strong message. And, that's just how I feel about it. But, given what we've been talking about for so long, Methods, I mean, how are you feeling about it?
Right. Well, I say it like this, since we're on the topic of dates and all that stuff, and you got called out in the super chat for not being in the bunker today.
I just saw that and
ruined the illusion.
It's because I filmed that interview with Sean earlier and I completely forgot.
No, you're fine, man.
Here we go.
I
can breathe again, finally.
But yeah, I mean, to the point that, what our favorite Anons brought up with like the dates being an issue and all that stuff. If you want to, we all have our hopes up to a degree about justice happening, right? We wish that would have happened a while ago, but there's a reason. And as things happen, we kind of understand a little bit more on why things took how long that they did. And we've gone ad nauseum on how we feel about that. With that said, what's up?
That super chat is extremely interesting. Let's see.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me finish my point here.
Yeah,
as far as the date stuff goes and all that, for those, if you're looking for a marker, if Durham comes back and says everything was on the up and up, then even Red Pill and I are going to reevaluate how we feel about all this stuff. You're right. So I mean, that's the kind of things that I would say to wait for.
Yeah.
And not what Washington Post or New York Times says when they say, "Oh, Durham's not going to find anything." They'll say that a few weeks before, like they always do.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for that time. Wait for that time, and then come back to us.
Yeah.
And it won't be I told you so's, unless we're joking about it. But that's going to be the time frame of stuff that we're looking at. And that's what our favorite Anon is pointing at here as far as the start.
I need to trim my eyelashes. Marshall Cerise has joined as a member. Thank you for that, Marshall. Shane Preston says, what happened? Marshall, why did you delete that? I don't understand. Maybe did you not mean to become a member and you just canceled it? Shane Preston says, it was comfier in the bunker. What happened? Shane, thank you for bringing it to my attention. Dusty Paul, thank you for joining as a member. Aviella Kelly says, yesterday, Governor Newsom declared California a nation state, independent of the U.S. Is that true? Is that true?
I saw the reports on it. Yeah, I just didn't jump. I was doing something else and caught it real quick.
Newsom, California... nation state. That is big news. Right. We can take all of our federal funding right out of there. He did.
That reminds me of the people that you had on talking about creating the new state of California, right?
Yeah. So I think maybe, what is this, like a preemptive move he's doing? California this week declared its independence from the federal government's feeble efforts to fight CV-19 and perhaps a bit more. The consequences for the fight against the epidemic are almost certainly positive. The implications for the brewing civil war between Trumpism and America's budding 21st century majority, embodied by California's multiracial liberal electorate, are less clear. This is going to be even more important for Paul Preston and the new California state to finalize their stuff. I mean, they said that, I think they were looking to hit it in 2020. So... wow, I can't believe he did that. This is a pretty big deal. This is a really big deal. New California, that's right, Elizabeth Coles. Let's see. Hey Jude says Tomahawk has flag and an EMT emblem. I can't wait to see it, you guys. Send me your pictures, your Tomahawk pictures, or tag me on Twitter, and I will share them. We'll get Red Pills Warhawk some more business. Julia for Freedom says, it will happen. Massive op in progress. Where we go on, we go all worldwide. It is happening, exactly. And like I've always said, like Methods has always said, this is not our timeline. We are not the ones who are setting this stage up for the eventual disclosure. Anything that we say is pure speculation, and anything anybody says is pure speculation. So, it should be a cautionary tale. If anybody's telling you that they know that something's going to happen, then they're not telling you the truth, because nobody knows, okay? This is not our game here. This is on God's timeline, and however long it has to take is how long they're going to take it, because, like Bar said, it takes years perhaps to build up an investigation when we're talking about, years, maybe decades of criminal activity.
Well, I mean, that's what our favorite Anons refer to as handle with care, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's all because, let's say that if I were to tweet out a date and be wrong about it, that'd be irresponsible for me to even give the people that stuff. And I'm not going to name anybody, call out anybody. I don't even have anybody in mind particularly about it.
Mm-hmm.
But as you're building your following and people find they trust you, they know that you're going to put out information that you're vetting, you really need to handle it with care even more so.
Mm-hmm.
Like when our favorite Anon pointed that we were now the number 2 most attacked outside of Trump,
mm-hmm.
like that's when I had my moment. I was like, whoa, wait a second. And if you notice, around that time I started tweeting less and making sure things were more the best I could. I didn't want to just run with anything, because you could see that. So I mean, I challenge everybody, just try your best, and if you can't verify, it's okay not to tweet it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so thank you to Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne says, RP78M3, love your afternoon show. Info on Tomahawk. Yeah, where did Red Pills Warhawk go, you guys? I don't have it. I copied it the other day and then pasted it. Hey, Red Pills Warhawk, you got to put your email into the chat, brother. Learning Mom. So what you do is do whatever the front part of the email is, do a space, then the @ then a space, and then the rest of it. You might have to put a space in between dot and com. Is Conscience Abe here? Conscience Abe, good to see you, buddy. So we've got Learning Mom, Officer J, first-time viewer, and now hopefully a long-time member, and Chris, all joining as members. Thanks, guys. Marshall Cerise says, you are amazing. Thank you, Marshall. You're amazing, too. Gino says, Comey posted the light at the end of the tunnel tweet. POTUS has mentioned the same phrase. Could it be that Comey has turned on his commie friends? Is there some comms going on? I haven't seen it. I would definitely like to pull it up.
That's been speculated a bunch.
Yeah.
On did Comey flip? And that's, once again, I'm not going to say he did because I don't know. I don't like the guy.
Yeah.
I want to see him in handcuffs. I want a perp walk, and I want to put music to it and have, dubstep remixes. But as far as what Comey's doing now, he's definitely got a lot to answer for, because you have to think about all this stuff with this investigation things. He started it. He really started a lot of these things, and I believe in conjunction, at least part of, with Brennan.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I know what tweet you're referring to. When he said, "I'm good day for a walk with a household member," and it's like he's walking through a tunnel. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Comey is a sucker for metaphors. Okay, this guy loves to put that stuff out there. So it does not surprise me at all if he is, doing some comms here. But I don't know if he flipped. I hope he flipped, because he's going to have a lot to say. Let's see. Thank you, Gino. Kristen P says that she joined as a member. Also, Coma46 and 2 joined as a member. And Carl Erickson says, has anybody looked at the number of sealed indictments increasing on QMAP? I have, but it's been maybe a good week since I did. So I will go ahead and open that in a new tab. But I want to finish this post, because after we get the FISA indictments equals start of public justice, we get the definition from the Merriam-Webster dictionary on start.
It's actually really interesting when you put it in the context of what 17 is talking about.
Okay, so to move suddenly and violently. Ooh, I like that a lot. Here we go.
Hey, somebody please screen cap him making that face and send it to me on Twitter. Thank you. Continue, bud.
You guys, I've got another awesome lightning hands GIF meme that somebody had made. Okay, hold on. 1770 sticks. I'm just putting this into my notes here so that I can share it when people ask in the beginning at protonmail.com. All right, so this way I'll be able to copy it and put it into the chat. Okay, great. Wow, to move suddenly and violently. That is very telling in the context of this information right here.
Yeah, keep going. Keep reading them.
Yeah, to react with a sudden, brief, involuntary movement, to issue with sudden force, to come into being activity or operation, to protrude or seem to protrude, to become loosened or forced out of place, to begin a course or journey, to range from a specified initial point, to begin an activity of undertaking, to be a participant in the game or contest, and then there's also transitive verb versions of it, to cause to leave a place of concealment, to bring up for consideration or discussion, to bring into being, to cause to become loosened or displaced, to begin the use of. Oh, yeah. You guys, this is great. This is really, really great when you put those together. I am loving it. Okay, so now, once again, we get back to the idea of what's taken place up until this point. Think of everything that had to be cleaned up, all of the swamp that needed to get drained, just so we could get here to this point to start moving into another phase. Okay? Future proves past. Events unlock. As Method said, most often, we don't know that the stuff is lined up until we're well past it, and then we can look back and we can say, oh yeah, that's right, that obviously looks like it's corresponding to this, but we have to get to the future in order to unlock that past post. So what have we had? Think CEO departures. Outrageous numbers of CEOs departing. Most recently, we had the CEO, I believe, wasn't it Lockheed, and then Bill Gates leaving Microsoft. Think FBI departures, think DOJ departures, think State Department departures, which was really the Clowns of America department. Think White House departures, think DIA departures. I don't know what DIA departures have taken place. I mean, they barely admit that the DIA even exists. Think Pentagon departures. Think Senate departures. Think House departures. Think ambassador departures. Think IG departures. We just had 2 of those. Think judge install. Think Supreme Court install. Think White House install. Think FBI install. Think Clowns in America install. Gina, thank you for being there. Think DOJ install. Think US ATT install. U.S. Attorney install. People like John Durham, John Huber. Game theory, if you look, you can see. Now, I think that some of the people who get upset when they don't have a course of action that has taken place because it's what they want to see and they're looking with like laser focus, okay? You have to be able to look at the entire timeline to see the full spectrum of everything that's happened, okay? When you put all of these things together and set them next to each other, you can see it, okay? You can see what their plan was. Game theory is a very complicated thing. They have to do A and B and C and D and E so that they can get to F, and it only happens if they can get everything accomplished. Let me just say real quick.
Well, I need to say thank you real quick to Conscious Abe and your girlfriend for both sending me screen caps of your face doing that. I'll find a good way to use it sometime here in the near future.
I appreciate it. Okay. Cindy DeKine, thank you for that. And Red Pills Warhawk, thank you for sharing your email. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat again just in case anybody didn't get it. Michael Bancroft. I went to high school with a Michael Bancroft. Is that you? Well, Michael, good to see you. Thank you for being you. I appreciate you being here. Carl Erickson, thank you for joining as a member. Jeff Hughes, does anybody have an idea what nuisances declaration means for us Q folks? Nuisances. You mean, did they spell Nunez?
It might have been Newsom.
Newsom. Oh, Newsom. Okay, that makes sense. I have a hard time believing Trump would allow us to fall into the ocean. I think that we're going to have to watch how this one plays out. I'm surprised that we haven't had an official announcement from Trump. I mean, I'm sure he must have called Newsom. That's a big deal for Newsom to, say that he wants to break off from the United States. I need to talk to Paul Preston. Doc Marston, MD, let me know if you'd like me to join Future to discuss adreno, chloro, and anything else medical. All right, Doc, I appreciate that, buddy. And because I do have some medical stuff I want to get on here and talk about. Charles Pixley, good friend of the program. Good to see you, Charles. He says, a fan of your show said Truthhammer88 cancer diagnosis for a 29-year-old brother. Can contact me in the comments below. Okay. Truthhammer from Twitter. I mean, I've never spoken to him before, but I'm sure that we can get you guys in contact with each other.
I've been in. We're talking about the same guy that went to that court thing this past week. Yeah. No, I'm in contact with him. So, who was that just asked? Sorry, I'm looking at Craig Mason. Our buddy sent me a GIF of you making that face.
Good.
I'm loving this. So we'll have all this. We'll put it out there. But who was asking? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
Charles Pixley, my buddy Charles Pixley with the 714X.
Oh yeah. Hey Charles. Of course. Yeah, we'll connect you to. I'll tell Truthhammer to get in touch with you.
Okay. Our doc says Newsom's story is fake news. I mean, it was reported by Yahoo News, but our doc. I mean, I tend to trust our doc's. Yeah, it was published by Bloomberg on April 9th. Everyone in the... maybe he just said nation state. Gateway Pundit reported on it? What the heck? California Governor Newsom continues to describe California as a nation state in interviews. It looks like he's just referring to California as a nation state, not actually making a direct announcement that California shall secede from the Union. I think that would be suicide.
Yeah, unless he's trying to seed the public and see if he can get away with it.
Very much
because of his connections and stuff to the old guard of California.
Yeah. Let's see. Cindy DeKine says, we the people are forming class action geared towards the mainstream media due to the clear and present danger geared towards President Trump and our country. I think that would be a wonderful idea if there was a class action against the mainstream media. I mean, President Trump already has a couple of his own suits going against them, but I think that would be a wonderful thing if the entire people of the United States all sued the mainstream media for misleading us. We'll see how that goes. I'm interested to follow up on that. Mohawk Girl, good to see you, Mohawk Girl. She says, guys, oops, hold on. Something's wrong with my chat. Let me get it fixed real quick. Pop out. Okay. It wasn't updating there for a second. Are you still there, Methods?
Yeah, I'm still here, bud.
Okay, good. All right. So Mohawk Girl says, guys, WTF is DJT doing? These monsters and traitors are spreading that COVID to any state that wants more money. People are dying. I trusted the plan, but it ain't happening. We are frogs getting boiled slowly. What do we do? Well, I don't think that's what's happening. I think that the fear that is being drummed up by people in the mainstream media is completely unfounded. I have some figures here, guys. In the United States, there has been a total of 150 people who have passed away directly as a result of CV-19. The rest of those thousands of deaths were people who were already sick with other things and were probably going to pass away anyways. Do you guys realize that the incidence of deaths in the United States right now is lower than it would be otherwise because people are staying inside? We're being told that this is the sky falling on our heads, but I'm telling you, I do not believe that it is. And I think that when you take a look at the statistics of people who get sick every single year from the regular flu, we've got tens of thousands of more people who pass away from that, and we get along just fine. We go about our business, we go outside, people get sick because they're passing stuff around, but that's life. It's normal. The only thing that's different now is that people are trying to scare you and to stop you from having the faith that we need in order to continue the plan that we are working towards. And I completely understand, Mohawk Girl, but DJT is firmly in control of this country and this situation. Birx and Fauci might think that they have him. They might think that they are controlling him, but I guarantee you they are not. President Trump has had the same MO all along. He has people of the swamp surrounding him, and they believe they're controlling him, but he has moves and counter moves for days that are happening, and every single time the country turns out for the better. What do we just have yesterday? The single largest stock market gain in over 50 years. The United States is going to be fine. We are all going to be okay. And just don't listen to the fear-mongering. Don't listen to the media. Everything is speculative with them. The things that they're saying, the things that they are trying to do to shut America down, it's only because they want to destroy President Trump. They want you to stop trusting him. They want us to stop trusting him. They want him to lose come November, and we cannot allow that to happen. Do not lose faith. We are not frogs that are boiling in the pot. I'm very familiar with that analogy. I would say that we were at one point, but President Trump, since he's come into office, he has completely changed the game. And these people have not stopped. They have not halted or held back in their efforts to try to remove him and to destroy the country. Things are still good. We are still on track. And I know that maybe some of you might lose hope before we start seeing the arrests take place, before the release of these FISA indictments. But I'll still be here when you come back. And I hope that people watching this program don't completely lose faith, because faith is very important, and especially in a time such as this.
That was well said, man. And I totally agree with you. And just to add on to it, ride the coattails of what you just said, think about the intent of why they want you afraid, why they need to keep pushing this when the numbers don't add up in your head and it doesn't make sense. You know, the way that the narratives are, it's like how they would have like the news reporters at the beginning of a pandemic movie, and the music's solemn and all that, or like sketchy, and they're saying all these things. It's the same kind of narrative, but then you look around and everybody, I mean, there's kids playing outside my house right now on the streets. You know, it doesn't feel the same. So what's the intent of it? And the intent of it is not only to undermine Trump, have you lose faith in him, but they need that narrative for the mail-in ballot stuff. Mm-hmm. They need that narrative for their stimulus package pork stuff. and overall just undermining the agenda that Trump has for us. And if you understand the intent and then look at the realities, and then it's just more lying to you. If you're in fear and all that stuff, you close up, you clam up, you end up making irrational decisions and stuff of those things. And that's why we try to stay as casual and we use the word comfy as much as possible, because at the end of the day, it's going to be okay. That's how we feel it. And if you step back and look at it that way and then accept that reality, it's going to be a lot easier on you in the long run. Don't lose time in your life being, worried because they want you to be worried. Try to enjoy life just the same.
We've also, I saw somebody put in the chat, that there is a new post from our favorite Anon. There is one final post I haven't gone over yet. And I did want to say we've got 163,469 sealed indictments on the indictments. Methods, have you gotten a new post that's 3931?
No, but I'm refreshing using a couple with the lag issues. I don't know if it's DDoS or whatever that's been happening on the boards. Yeah. Somebody told me that they got an update on a Q post yesterday that was 13 minutes later.
Okay,
so I don't know. We'll see.
All right, let's see. So Mohawk Girl, I appreciate what's going on. It's difficult when you're getting this fear just pumped into your brain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But the agenda here is to keep us afraid so that people will have to vote by mail and they can steal the election. Maureen M., thank you for that. Carl Erickson says, thank you for being a source of truth for so many people. You are more important than you know. Watching you grow over the last 2 years has been inspiring. Thank you, RP, Methods, Real RP Girlfriend, and all the mods. Carl, thanks, buddy. I really appreciate that. And I just want everybody to know how seriously I take this. I have a responsibility not only to myself, but to you guys as well. I am here to help people stay calm, stay focused, stay centered, and I want to bring the truth. And, I am just like you guys. I watched the mainstream news lie to me every night for years. I can still remember the first time that I saw CNN's coverage of Gulf War I with the background removed in front of that blue screen, and pretending that they were about to get hit by missiles from Saddam's army. And I remember how angry I felt and how difficult it was for me to put it all together. If they could lie about that, if they would be willing to start a war and lie to us about what was happening, then what else did they go ahead and lie to us about? Methods, should I read this on the air?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Abe sent me the clip of Newsom using the term nation state.
Beautiful.
So, I mean, judge for yourself on it. He does use it, and says he's using the powers of a nation state.
Oh, shoot. That didn't work.
Here, I'll drop it over in Discord for you.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, I mean, it's only like 20, I think it said 25 seconds long, something like that.
Okay, so let's see. Also, Peggy Harrington, thank you for joining as a member. Gary Be Good says, Elk Grove, California, you are some of the best on YouTube. Thanks. I appreciate that, Gary. Thanks for being here, buddy. Cue the Music says, CNS News reports Newsom commented on March 20th. I don't doubt it. JNBD says, Red Pill, did you get a package of pens and brochures? I did not, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to get it. My mail goes to a central location, and then it gets sent to me. So I only get a package like once a month. The last package that I got was the one where I showed the hat from Guy in California. Daro Bruno's, one of the videos on Event 201 site is the media drumming up fear or flooding the zone. Fear, not the stories, are overhyped. Exactly. That's what they want to do. They plan these things out in advance. They run a drill, and then they go ahead and they put it into action. And the who benefits, okay? Who benefits from keeping us afraid? Well, the Dems, the deep state, the people who want to stop President Trump, who want to destroy our confidence in him, all right? This is not for our protection. This is not to save American lives. This is to destroy everything we built over the last 3 years, 4 years. Do not let them do it. Law Dog says, POTUS called Cali in New York countries in a brief. Really? That's funny. Brian A. says, I have a question. Why are we under the assumption that it is either or with CV? I mean, isn't it possible to get the flu and CV at the same time? Yeah, it totally is. And because we don't have widespread testing, we honestly can't say what's what, because we have people with such mild cases that are asymptomatic. And then we have some people that apparently, get full-blown horrible pneumonia with some questionable things happening. We don't know. This is the thing. It is so uncertain. But I can tell you what, it went from 2.2 million people that they projected as passing away to now around 60,000 by late fall. Okay? That is tens of thousands of people less than pass away every single year from the regular flu. As terrible as it is, I don't want to sound callous, but death is a part of life. People will inevitably die. They are taking this opportunity to bleed the federal government to get as much funding as possible by just tacking CV-19 and putting them into that pool every time somebody passes away, whether or not they even get a test result, whether or not they have proven that they have it. Imagine how many billions of dollars President Trump has been able to withhold from the swamp. All of the programs that have been cut, all of the red tape and regulations that have been cut out, all of the pork that they've been unable to add to these bills, they are probably hurting financially. By doing this and tacking that CV-19 diagnosis onto anybody who passes away, the hospitals and the states are getting more money as a result of that. This is just another version of the same thing, and it's not going to go on forever. Brian A., thank you for that. True Grit says, inevitable ET, Trump talking about China. I don't know. Are you talking about a recent tweet from Inevitable ET? I'll pull it up and we can see what that's about. Thank you. Red Pills Warhawk says, what did the blanket say when it fell off the bed? Oh, sheet. Stupid dad jokes. Frau Blucher says, I guess you could say I'm getting old. Every time I move, I sound like a bowl of Rice Krispies. This waiting for justice is hard on this old broad. Quick, someone get me a sedative. Sedative. I don't know. Oh, you're talking as if you are Frau Blucher. Okay. Yeah, it's not easy on any of us, I mean, I completely understand. I'm right there with you guys. I'm waiting for it to happen too. Methods is waiting for it to happen too. But this goes back to allowing yourself to give up the need to control a situation. When you accept that you are not in control of whatever happens, wherever it happens, whatever situation you're looking at, then you relieve yourself of that burden of being angry and being outraged that things don't turn out the way you want. The world is going to keep turning whether or not you're here, and no matter what you say or how angry you get or how outraged you become, they have fed us a steady diet of outrage for years and years and years. You got to stop eating the outrage, okay? Ooh, wrong song.
I'm gonna drop that Newsom clip here in the chat. It's from a tweet. If anybody wants to catch up on that and see what he said, and take from it what you will.
All right, then the last post. Oh, there is a new post just as we're about to get off.
Oh, man.
So Tink says, decode for Kofefe. Cove, abbreviation for CV. Using phonics when teaching a child is the sound of F is fa. I think POTUS was saying that he knew there would be an FF. Okay, not a bad one. Lowe's Van Dongen says, did anybody see the footage of the Gitmo channel? Is it real? If it is, oh my god. I haven't seen it, so I can't verify its veracity either way. But let's just go over the last post, post 3931. And we have a Twitter status from Secret Agent. Let me take us over there. We can look at it. Be cautious in your interpretations of info posted. So glad he finally said this. I've been seeing the wacky conspiracies, number counting, etc. get way out of control. The movement is being discredited by the irrational speculation. Let's work with what we have. Now we go back to the post. The credibility of our institutions, constitutional law that governs our great land, our republic, and our ability to regain the trust and faith of the American people all depends on our ability to restore equal justice under the law by prosecuting those responsible. Blind justice. This is such an important point. This is something I've said on many occasions. It's about the restoration of law, justice, the fair and equal application of that. We cannot Just go through the streets of New York and Washington, D.C. and round people up. We are not a banana republic. We are not, the Philippines under Duarte. We are not Nicaragua, all right? This is not about rounding up political dissidents. This is about bringing justice to the people who broke the law. It has to be done 100% by the book. President Trump does not cut corners. President Trump does not take bribes. President Trump and Bill Barr are doing this in the manner in which it has to be done, under the law. Continuing on, treasonous acts, sedition against the Republic, the people of the United States. Start, lead in. Infiltration, rogue at the highest levels of our government. Media, core, etc. Planned and coordinated. And then we've got a D/F, domestic and foreign. This is not about politics. Something far more sinister, evil, has been allowed to flourish through all parts of our society. Once again, cleaning the swamp is more than just Washington, D.C. It is absolutely every level of our society. It's business, it's industry, it's banking, it's politics, it's religion, it's everything. Something far more sinister has been allowed to flourish in all parts of our society. It has been protected and safeguarded. It has been camouflaged to appear as trusted. It has been projected, normalized by stars, Hollywood. Class 1 through 99. One must only look to see. Symbolism will be their downfall. This is not another four-year election. Be on your guard. Stand firm in the faith. Be courageous. Be strong. You are not alone. We stand together. It's a great post, okay?
Yeah, it's self-explanatory, right? And it's what we've been trying to talk about, what our favorite anons pointed to, and all that. But yeah, just read it over again and just really take it in. And that tweet that the person put out was on point too. I know that we've got to run. I just want to thank everybody. You know, man, we had close to 4,000 people here, and Trump's still going.
Wow.
So thank you for everybody hanging out with us. Click that like button on the way out the door. I also want to do this because we are leading into our buddy 412's show. Mm-hmm. I'm dropping the link to his show that's going to start right now.
Please.
And tell him that RP and M3 sent you over there. Let's go get his numbers up. He got really close to 2,000 the other day, and that was his highest. So let's get it over there and help him out a bit because his whole crew are great people. But yeah, man, I had a good time today.
Me too, dude. And 412 is awesome. Please do let him know that we sent you over there. Let's get him over 2,000. We've got 3,700 people right now, 1.7 thousand likes. Hit that like button on the way out. One last super chat. Hey, Jude says, old pharmacy joke. What's the difference between an oral thermometer and a rectal thermometer? The taste. That was a good one. Okay. All right, you guys, join me tonight at 10 p.m. Tiffany Fitzhenry is going to be coming on the program. We're going to be talking about the relationship between the intelligence sectors of the United States and Hollywood. Very interesting stuff we're going to be talking about tonight. So please, everybody, thank you once again for joining us. I appreciate it. Methods, I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody who comes here for some honest and logical conversation. I will see you all tonight at 10 p.m. for Friday Night Live Stream. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.
Much love.